Hey gang, this is Avon. Thanks again for watching another episode of Economics, where I give you little small nuggets of information that you can use in your life and your business. The principles of economics include your mindset, your mission, and your money. I'm also the author of Start Me Up, the No Business Plan Business Plan, and it's doing rather well. It's been doing well on Amazon bestseller a few times, as well as Kindle. Go out and grab a copy if you're in the middle of starting a business. If you want to start a business and you want to get yourself together, I'm going to show you how to avoid all the pitfalls, how to get customers, how to raise your prices, and a whole multitude of things. One thing I want to talk about today is I recently did 3 speeches in one day. I spoke to a college, I spoke to a group of kids after school program, and then after that I went and spoke to university alumni association students of the alumni association. And I wanted to, one of the things that resonated with me in this speech was I want to talk about the concept or the idea of resiliency. Now, the definition of resiliency is being able to bounce back, right? And I asked these kids, what's the definition of resiliency? They said be able to overcome something. The word they used when they said overcome was quickly. And that actually got me for a minute, because the reality is it's overcoming something, but not quickly. It's not only overcoming something, it's overcoming extreme adversity, problems, like a horrible, shitty life, something, overcoming something. But again, the key that I wanted to talk about, what got me, was that these kids said quickly. A few of them said quickly when I asked for the definition. The problem with that is, any transformation or change always requires time. It's never something that ends up quickly. So what stops a lot of people, and they lose motivation and being resilient when they're starting a business, is because they expect the crap to happen quickly. But that's not how it works. So when I was talking to these kids, and when I was speaking to other students, I wanted to give them pretty much a toolkit or a roadmap or a blueprint as to what you can do if you're in a situation where you're trying to either starting a business, you're going somewhere through life, you're dealing with some kind of problem, but you see there's a light at the end of the tunnel, there's a promised land, but you're stuck. So here's some principles I want to share with you today. The first thing I say is you have to have dreams. And I said it in an earlier video, without dreams or visions, people perish. That's also a biblical principle. But it's true. Here's an example. The light at the end of the tunnel is what matters. Without the light at the end of the tunnel, not being able to see that, you start to get hopeless and despondent. Your brain takes over, starts giving you things, saying, look, this is what's currently in front of you, and you have no choice or no option, and you might as well just give up. So a lot of people don't have the vision as to what they're supposed to see. When I wrote this book, I had a vision of what it was going to look like. I had a vision of 3 years before it came out. I had a vision of what it was going to look like. Even before I had a book deal, I saw what I wanted it to be in the future clearly and specifically enough that I came back and I actually was able to implement a plan. So you have to have dreams or visions. The second thing I say is, the important thing is find out how the system works. So whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, find out how that system works. Whether it's trying to play a sport, whether it's trying to learn a skill, whether it's trying to get a raise at your job, find out how your surroundings and your environment works and how that system works in order to attain that. So using a book as an example, I had to find out how the publishing industry worked. I had to find out how someone gets a book deal, how somebody talks to agents, how that process goes. So what happened was I kept writing and writing proposals. A lot of them were getting rejected. But when I ended up finally getting an agent, writing a proposal was easy because I'd spent 2 years doing it. You understand what I mean? So that's why it's important to stay committed to the process and understand how the system works. The next thing I say is get mentors. It doesn't matter who it is. Part of the importance of a mentor is not just somebody to guide you, but this person actually teaches you tools and techniques so you don't quit. And chances are, if you listen to what they say, you will be able to overcome. A lot of these mentors usually have gone through the same thing. Any successful person in the world has gone through some supreme, extreme adversity, but their why or their motivation exceeded it. Last but not least, I want to add this too, is that you want to be congruent. Okay, you want to be, basically, congruent is another word for being the same or uniform. So your actions have to be congruent to your dreams. So you can't say something like, for example, certain athletes will say, I want to win a championship, I want to win the Super Bowl. But they're out partying and drinking. They're out chasing women. They're not committed to their diet. They're not committed to lifting and working out. They're not committed to sleep. They're not committed to learning plays and learning how they can excel and be better. Iron sharpens iron for a reason. And basically what that means is you need to do the things that are important in order for it to match your dreams. No one becomes successful overnight. It doesn't happen. Even people who you just saw burst onto the scenes had been struggling for years prior. Even rappers, the same thing. They've been struggling years prior. You just never heard of them. Just all of a sudden, when they become popular, that's when they become rich. Then you hear of them and you think they came out of nowhere. But they've been grind. Most people grind for most of their lives. When you see an athlete who's famous, he's been playing that sport for years. Nobody just starts playing basketball last week and then ends up in the NBA. No one just started playing football 2 years ago and then ends up in the NFL. I don't care how athletic you are. There's a sense of, there's an acumen you have to build. There's a muscle you have to develop. Like Malcolm Gladwell says in his book, Outliers, about the 10,000 hour rule. You tend to hit expert level after 10,000 hours of being committed to your craft and beating on your craft. Not just talent, because talent will fail you without skill, right? So remember those principles. This is really important when it comes to staying motivated in your business and staying motivated in your dreams and your goals. It's not just about business. It's not just about your job. Having a vision or a dream for the future for you and your life and your family is astronomically important. And these principles will help you get through that when you hit adversity, because you will. Something will happen. It's inevitable. It happens to everybody. Everybody has the same story. But using these principles helped me in a multitude of ways, and it also helped you too. So as always, chances are given, chances are taken. So be bold and go get it.